Analyzing large quantities of textual data can be a time-consuming and daunting task. For example, here we've pulled in a subset of the 2006 VAST Challenge dataset, which consists of almost 250 fictitious news stories from the fictitious town of Alderwood. As analysts, our goal is to determine if anything fishy is going on in this town. To help enable this, our tool uses a forced layout with entities as nodes to enable high-level navigation of the document space. The forced layout leverages the Gestalt principle of proximity to suggest groups of entities that are likely to have a causal connection or other significant relationship. In this way, the tool also supports hypothesis generation by suggesting clusters of entities that merit further investigation. Access to raw document text and the timeline then enables further interrogation on either the acceptance or rejection of information within our hypotheses. The visual nature of the forced layout also supports random discovery of nodes that might seem interesting to humans, but that a machine would not identify as being of interest. For example, what the heck is the FDA investigating in Alderwood? The distances between entities is calculated based on the Jaccard similarity of the documents that a pair of nodes appears in. As intuited by its name, the Jaccard similarity metric is a measure of similarity for the two sets of data that compares members in each of the sets, in this case entities, to see which ones are shared across documents and which ones are distinct. So in this dataset, the entities University and Washington are more closely related in the corpus than University is to Grizzlies, because even though the Grizzlies are the university's mascot, the two words don't appear as often in the same document across the entire corpus because of the context surrounding the news articles. Over here on the left, the user is provided with a variety of tools to control the visibility of nodes and links. Specifically, it allows you to alter the tightness of clusters and other physical properties of the graph as necessary to suit the data or the task at hand. The entity link visibility controls the visibility of the Jaccard relationships between entities, which are the blue connections between the entities, so you can see links crop up as we move the slider to the right. The label link visibility controls the visibility of how similar the names or entities are. These are shown in pink. This relates to figuring out if entities are the same or not, such as John and John Kerry, but you can see here that it's also connected to John Torch and other Johns throughout the corpus. We've used this as a way to help get a better idea of how one might go about cleaning up some of the data in the dataset. Node visibility controls how many nodes are visible at a time. So as I move the slider to the right, entities that are mentioned less frequently crop up. However, if I move it to the left, you see the most common entities mentioned across the corpus. For the simulation control, each node has a force associated with it, hence the name, which can repel or attract other nodes. Links between nodes act like springs to draw them back together. These pushing and pulling forces work on the network over a number of iterations, and eventually the system finds an equilibrium. Simulation allows the user to control how quickly or accurately the force diagram gets drawn. Node packing describes the force between the nodes. And lastly, the outlier node distance shows how far the outliers are from the main entities, and you can control them a little bit to reel them in if they get too far out. The tool also includes a timeline of documents, which is linked to the main entity graph. When an entity is double-clicked, the timeline filters to the set of documents in which that entity appears, showing a neat history. Clicking on the document activates a modal with the full text of the document. In addition to these major features, the tool also provides the ability to search entities by name or part of a name, which filters the graph. The search box also provides an auto-suggest list that doubles as an entity directory. It also provides pinning and dragging nodes, which achieves a slightly dust and magnety type effect. So this describes the functionality of the tools that we've developed this past semester. With these tools, we hope that finding your fishy culprits and criminal masterminds becomes easier and more efficient.